Spittin' Chicklets, TNT, ESPN, the commentators, these guys, they ask the players the worst questions ever. And it really boils my blood. Especially because they're not, they're not asking different questions, or they're not like moving away from it. They're actually asking worse and worse questions, and more frequently, in less questions of any interest. For example, I think it was Biz from Spittin' Chicklets when he was on TNT, and in warm-ups, they called down to Jack Hughes, and the whole conversation was about which kind of Gatorade Jack Hughes prefers.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
And they had some stupid name for it. It was like, what kind of Gato do you like?
Oh yeah, yep, the Gato. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
they wasted like a minute and 15 seconds of my life asking a phenomenal hockey player about which kind of Gato he likes. And it was, this is something we're going to talk about frequently, but the bro talk between particularly Biz Nasty, and players, it frustrates me. These guys are men. They're professionals. They're world class. You're not their buddy. Plus, they're just regular guys too. So when you try to be like, oh man, what kind of Gato do you like? Huh? It's like, hey, talk to me like a man. Ask me something serious. And maybe you have an idea. To some degree, I don't even know what I want to hear these guys talk about. Like there is a part of me that wants the NHL to move more to like a WWE style, where they're like, hey, Jonathan Marchessault was talking crap about you. How about that slash he gave you in the last 2 minutes of the last time you played him? Are you planning anything for him? Is there going to be a response from you or the team? And what does that, how does that speak to the type of person or player that Jonathan Marchessault is? That didn't happen, but really, really sort of turning the temperature up on some of these things.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I would love to see some beef in between players. You got that pretty girl talking to him about some stuff, and like, hey, what about that slash to your groin? How'd you feel about that one? And then he just starts talking some trash. That would be fantastic, and it add like a dramatic effect to the fans too. Let's see what happens. Let's see what goes on in the next period. Let's see if the other team got wind of that. It's almost like the Boston Bruins when they heard about the Canucks raising the cup, like getting the wind of that,
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
It would. Well, I just think, like, has that been considered? Is that like on the table? And I don't think it is. And yeah, the Bruins Canucks deal, it only pissed me off to listen to the whole ordeal because it was the commentators, the guys on the desk of the intermission panel talking about the whole Canuck Bruins thing as if it were a really, really big deal. If it were the players themselves, that's more interesting to me. I could care less what anybody on the CBC second intermission panel thinks about something that happened literally 10 years ago. Something that wasn't even that big of a deal to be in the moment. Now we're going to still bring it up 10 years later. It's not even worth me like describing right now. That's like how lame it is.
Yeah.
But there's also another vein too, right? Is what like if we're not going to go the WWE route, what's another route that could be taken? Like I personally think if I could go back and tell my like 10-year-old self something, I would tell myself like, hey man, you should be like focusing on off ice stick handling and shooting more. You should be drilling pucks at a net in the garage or outside or anything. Like stop taking videos of yourself dunking on a 6.5 foot hoop. Like grab the hockey stick and freaking do something with the puck. I think that would have made me a better player. So ask Jack Hughes, hey, you're a phenomenal player. There really isn't one point of your game that is bad, but what is something that makes you lose sleep at night because you didn't work on it more when you could have as a youngin'? And maybe there's nothing, but it would at least be interesting to hear these guys talk about something serious like that.
Yeah, the intermission interviews have to evolve some way. They've been the same as long as I can remember watching sports, for any sport really. They have to evolve some way, and if that means taking a page from your book, and that, you know, I would love that. I would love to hear what they do to better their game, or what they work. You know, you ask them, you know, something. You ask Jack Hughes. You ask him, hey, you did really phenomenal in these first two periods. You were kind of crappy the last game. What did you switch up in this game compared to last game? What did you work on this past week to prepare to play against so and so? And then he gives you that, and then the kid that's watching that is going to look up to him, and you know what? He's going to think on that and probably do the same thing.
Correct.
Evolve.
Yeah. You know, well, precisely why I brought this up was because I was thinking of the kid, like you just said, the kids watching it. Drinking yellow Gatorade because Jack Hughes does is not going to make you a better hockey player, dude. And to the WWE point, there's what I see lacking in the game, which I just watched the end of the Lightning Oilers game, and there was some hatred on the ice. Like these guys were pissed off, and I want more of that, because it seems like the NHL is not going in that direction. These guys, like, you know, hang out in the summers together and text each other and party together. And I don't like that. If you are a Bruins player and you're playing against the freaking Arizona Coyotes, I want you to hate them. I want you to hate the individuals on the Coyotes team. I want you to have a personal problem with them for zero reason other than they are not wearing a Bruins jersey. And then when they get traded to the Bruins, you go, hey man, that was all behind us. Now you're one of my guys. Okay? I'm going to have your back. We're going to go to war together. But to have this like, oh, we hang out before the game, or we text each other and then, oh, okay, well, we got to go to our team warm up. So I'll talk to you later, friend. It sucks. It honestly sucks. And I think these dumb questions by the commentators they're not helping, and I don't know if they're driving it or not, but that is one lever that could have some force applied to change the dynamic. Here's another question that pisses me off, and I've seen it mostly with the Spit and Chiclet, almost exclusively. And I never watch their little videos on Instagram, but anytime I'm scrolling through with Instagram with the volume up, their video interviewing an NHLer, mostly on the Edmonton Oilers, their question to these players is always, hey, have you ever been in McDavid's hot tub? Dude, again, with like, these are grown men. If I was on, I'm just thinking back to high school, or I could use my men's league team today. But if somebody interviewed me, I guess because I'm a man today as opposed to a child back in high school. But if somebody said, oh, hey, have you ever been in Sean's hot tub? I'd go, you know what? I'm actually done here. Call me back when you have something serious to talk about.
Yeah. That is ridiculous.
It's almost embarrassing for these players to answer the question.
They don't, I guess, like the material, maybe these people just don't understand what they're talking about, or they can't come up with certain types of things to certain topics to think about to ask these players.
Yeah.
My question to Connor McDavid would be like,
no,
hey,
no,
man,
no, not Connor McDavid. The other, whoever plays with Connor McDavid.
Oh,
and that's a key point. What you just said is because like Connor McDavid is synonymous with the Edmonton Oilers, but
yeah.
If you get a guy like Draisaitl, I saw him ask this question to Draisaitl too, which really set me off because Draisaitl is a phenomenal player. Holy shit, man. Like a great hockey player. And you're going to ask this man about being in Connor McDavid's hot tub. So yeah, Reese, go. What is like a serious question to ask a world-class player like Leon Draisaitl?
Oh, for like last year during the playoffs, I think, do not quote me on this, but he either broke Wayne Gretzky's assist record in the playoffs, or he was pretty damn close to it. He got nearly over 2 assists for every single playoff game that he got. So I'd ask him like, man, what do you do to get all those assists? What is your thinking behind playing in a playoff game like that? You got pressure on you. What sets you up to set these guys up to score goals?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I had a better example was, Connor McDavid and his speed. How did you get so fast?
I think that's genetic.
How are you? That probably is. But maybe I don't know, got a skating coach and his, this secret sauce to skating. I have no idea.
Yeah.
That's what I would want to know.
Hell yeah. That's a great point.
Because I was always a shitty skater.
That's a good question. Is there some secret sauce in your history that allows you to be this quick other than your DNA? Is there something potentially other people could look into? And like on the Draisaitl thing, even a question about like, hey man, you're a great player and everybody talks about you, but Connor McDavid is just on another level. So like, how do you mentally, does it help you out that McDavid gets all the attention? Cause then, hey, I just show up and I go to work and I don't have to answer any questions or, be on any highlight reels of my screw ups or whatever. But personally, if I got Draisaitl on the phone, I would ask him to send me a picture of him standing up on skates, with his stick right in front of him, on the ground, to see how tall that freaking piece of lumber is.
Yeah.
And the follow-up question is like, did you always play with a stick that long? And if you did, how did you battle the coaches and the hockey school instructors that were obsessed with cutting everybody's stick down to below their Adam's apple? When I went to PEI, they straight up made us stand with our sticks and went by with a sawzall and just cut them off. And I was like,
really?
Yeah. What just happened?
They would do that.
I think that was $120 stick, man.
Yeah,
I'm going to grow into it. That's what my dad said.
Huh. That's what my dad said too. I played defense, and I always kept my dad always told me to keep my stick or like cut it off right where your nose is, tip of your nose. So I always did that. I guess, I'm not a pro, but I did play hockey for a long time, and I guess it was just a preference for me. I had a hard shot. I would say I was pretty accurate with my shots. I guess it just comes down to a preference, but if a hockey professional were to come by and cut my stick off, I'd be like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
I don't know how you felt like that, but it all comes down to a preference. Yeah.
Well, it was kind of a dual action thing where I was like, you know what? I actually didn't want my stick cut. Thanks. I did actually put some thought into how long I cut it or whatever. But also, well, you guys are really good at hockey and this program is world class. So maybe you guys are onto something. I don't know. I'll give it a shot, but would have been cool to have like an option here.
Yeah.
The other thing is, the next topic is this in men's league, because I don't play competitive hockey anymore. I play in the A League, and I play in the A League because I want the competition to be high. I want to play with good players, and I want to play against good players. But it's
okay. So the A League is the top tier team, or the top tier league, and then what's before that? Like the B League. There's a B League, and then
yeah, it actually goes all the way to the E League, which is for people pretty much who bought skates over Christmas, decided they were going to get into the game.
Okay. Just for the listeners there.
Yeah. So it's cool because I get frustrated when there are people, particularly on my team in the A League, who are not A League level. Because I go, we have B, C, D, E. It's not like you only have two options. Good, bad. Drop down a level. Or two, actually, for some people. But I found it to be the case that a lot of guys in the A League conflate the competitive level with the asshole level. They think A League is for the top assholes. Hey, B League's just for fun, but A League, that's if you want to be a huge dick out on the ice. And in men's league hockey, we don't go to tournaments, and we don't play teams from other towns or states. It's all local guys.
Yeah.
And we're all grown-ups, and we all do other stuff Monday to Friday. People have jobs, other hobbies, and it was very weird because one of our players went on a fast rush to the net and got taken down. Scratch that. Let me back up. One of the opposing players was on a rush to our net fast, and one of our guys kind of like, there was a little bit of body contact, but they both fell, and went crashing into the goal. And the other team they didn't really go nuts, but they were freaking pissed off. And I thought it was a pretty innocent play. It was hard, but it wasn't obscene, wasn't particularly dirty. And I show up down at the net, and I'm staring at this guy who's probably 260 pounds, 280, and my height. So he's a big boy. And I just smile at him. He looks at me and goes, "What are you gonna do?" And I kind of like my eyebrows went into like the questioning face, like, huh? And he goes, yeah, nothing, because you get your ass beat. and I literally turned around and skated to the bench, not out of any sense of fear, more in like, wow, okay, this is like nothing I want to be a part of. You are a risk out here. We need to know where the AED is, because just simply playing hockey, you run a huge risk of having a heart attack or a stroke. And you're talking about fighting me? Brother, come on.
Yeah, the egos just get huge in those leagues. You see it. You even see it like in the B League, the league below the A League. People just go there. You saw it back in our small town where we grew up. You saw it in that men's league, which had four teams of maybe 10 or 12 guys on each team. And these guys would just get these big egos like they were back in high school, man. They were trying to relive the glory days. It's like, dude, we're just out here having a good time. Like, celebrate goals. That's cool. You know, have a beer or two before you step on the ice. That's cool. There's no reason to get that aggressive at a men's league, a local men's league hockey game. Like, there's no one in the stands. Maybe your wife's watching. You got to put on a show.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, there's no reason to do that.
That's why I skated away, because I was thinking, like, hey, guys have shit to do tomorrow. They probably don't. They're probably gonna feel like a huge dipshit if they get in a fight and oopsie daisies, now their orbital bone is fractured and they need to use some PTO to go to the ER, and then the maxo whatever, the surgeons who work on the face and plastic surgery. They were a really cool title. But show up in his office on a Tuesday. Hey doc, got in a fight in my men's league hockey game. And am I going to be able to see through my eye ever again? Like, how ridiculous is that? Especially from the guy like I described. A big portly man. And that's not to say that some guys won't get to the level of needing to get beat up because they're dirty or the style of play. It's not that they try too hard, but there are certain players who they're chippy. And that's another thing that sucks in men's league. Like, you're not really proving anything at this point. It's competitive. Maybe it drives you to work out, because you want to maintain a level skill. That's great. Go work out, but don't try to manufacture this like tough guy enforcer, whatever, because it's not needed in men's league hockey. At least where I'm at. And that's the whole vibe.
Yeah, it's not needed. It's not needed at all.
Yeah. Makes it less.
I don't know how you enforce that type of style in men's league though. I don't know how you enforce people that get chippy and stuff. Maybe like, I don't know. You deal with those people all the time, just in life, that you can't just control. Even if you like try and threaten them.
Correct.
They're still gonna do what they do, and then you're the guy who tells on him, and then things get out of hand. I don't know what the solution is to that, but if you're listening right now and you're one of those people that are are doing that in a minute, just don't do it. Don't just go out there and have fun.
Well,
that's what it is for.
Yeah.
It's for old guys, ages from 18 to 50 that just want to go play some hockey like they did in high school.
Yep. What it actually takes is guys on their own team, because unlike the NHL and men's league, even on opposite teams, we're all kind of buddies. Hey, go in the other locker room, have a beer after the game, whatever, shoot the shit. But it takes somebody on their own team being like, hey, dude, calm down. Okay. Let's not turn this into, actual, LARPing. We're trying for something. Just try to be friends with everybody. Play hard. Score goals, win, but also be a cool dude to be around.
Yeah, absolutely. That goes in a play of taking accountability for your own actions, but as a teammate, take accountable for your teammates' actions as well.
Yeah, and that's why it's very important in men's league to be on a team with older guys. There's one team in our league that has all young dudes. I couldn't imagine any one of their players being under 27. And I fortunately am on a team with, there's probably 50-year-old guys on my team. And that in the locker room, on the bench, on the ice, that's such a positive force because they are a check and balance. And when you have just a team of a bunch of young guys, they can sort of lose the 40,000 foot view. So,
yeah, 100%.
The last topic that I had was talking about high school players that we used to look up to.
Yep.
I remember going to high school games when I was very young, and I loved watching two guys play. One was Ryan Sear, and the other one was Gartley. Ryan Sear he did a play. He was on the penalty kill, and he shot the puck in the offensive zone corner, skated his ass off into the corner, and then jumped on top of the puck and laid on it. And I was like, that's literally brilliant. And there's stuff like that. He wore the back of his socks. He would stretch them over the ankle protector and affix them to where the heel of the boot connects with the blade holder, the toque.
Really?
Yes. And so I did that for a while because I wanted to emulate him.
Yeah. I
did that penalty kill thing, and he did this other play, which I distinctly remember. I have no idea. I might have been 8 years old, but he had the puck and was skating down the ice into the offensive zone and kind of just pushed the puck into the skates of the defenseman who was backing up, and then body checked him and laid him out, flattened him. And I was like, oh man, that was cool. So I'm pretty sure I tried that once we got to Pee Wee's too. But sometimes I think about that guy, and even in that age, I never got to talk to him. And I don't even know what I would have said if I could have.
Yeah.
But to think that, man, does he know the impact that he had? And that I was 8 years old watching him play and then modeling my own game, doing this stuff on the ice, just like him. And I wonder what some of these guys, would think about that. I also have really never, I don't think I ever did think about that when I was playing high school. I just go out there and play my game like I knew how to do. But
Yeah.
and it might sound narcissistic, but I do wonder if there are players who are maybe in high school right now, or maybe just graduated, who watched me play and did stuff like I did in their Adams or Pee Wee or Bantam games.
Yeah, I got a little something to say with that. Is I was never like the star of the team, but I was out there. So I can't really relate to that. I never really thought some kid was looking at me with the puck and he was like, damn, I wish I could be that kid. I did score like a full ice goal one time with the goalie in the net. That's about it. But when I was a kid though, I remember seeing this kid do the Michigan for the first time. And I think after seeing that kid in like juniors or whatever do it in a shootout, I practiced like as much as I could, anywhere I could, to learn how to pick the puck up with my stick like that, get it up and learn how to do that Michigan. And then I finally got it down on the ice and was able to do it like in, shootouts or whatever, or just doing it during practice. Never did it in a game. Same thing with same thing. I saw some NHL player put the toe of his stick on the top of the puck and move the puck like that.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember doing that during a game. And Pierre, one of our coaches when we were a kid, he saw me doing that during the game and he yanked the stick out of my hand and was like, I never want to see you do that again. Don't ever do that again. Never did it again. But the point is, I think a lot of these people should realize that these higher class players, NHL, the American Hockey League, even the Rough Riders or the Heartlanders, maybe some of these kids are watching, dude, and the things that come out of your mouth and the actions that you portray on the ice and off the ice are projected onto these children or these youth hockey players, and they're going to do the same thing that you're going to do because they think you're cool, man. You're scoring goals or you got into a fight. That's cool. That was cool as a kid to me. I'm going to go out and do that. I'm going to go out and do that in my youth hockey game. And some of those things as a kid, you don't realize isn't the smartest thing to do at that time. Like put the toe of your blade on the puck is probably not the smartest thing to do going down the ice. But I think a lot, if you're listening and you're one of those higher class players, just keep that in the back of your mind that you have some control and you have some, what's the word? Impact on these youth hockey players.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's an extra drive to play hard and to play good hockey and to be somebody on the ice that ought to be imitated, to play a style of game which some kid watching ought to play like. I agree.
I really liked when we were growing up and we were playing, I really liked that one of your players that you liked a lot was Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah.
Looking back on that now, Alex Ovechkin is probably the best player one of the best players you want to look up to. He scores goals. He's very smart on the ice, and he can also hold his own in like not necessarily a fight, but an altercation. He's not just this captain that's just sitting back letting his enforcers do the work. He's in there. He's in there defending himself. He can defend himself.
Yeah.
That's why I think he's a good guy to like look up to and imitate on the ice.
I always liked him because he was fun to watch. He had a personality. He was an entertainer. But now I watch him, and it was last year, the year before, I was watching the Caps play because I straight up took like 2 years off from watching any hockey. And I text my dad in the middle of the game, and I said, Alex Ovechkin is the worst teammate ever. This guy doesn't back check, and he doesn't fight for the puck, really. He floats around, and when he gets in the offensive zone, he stands at the top of the circle, cocked in the one-timer position. Terrible teammate.
Yeah.
But he's a pure goal scorer. So why would you want him in the corner battling for a puck? Because if he wins it, who's he going to give it to? He can't give it to himself. You actually want him standing up there because he's got a laser beam of a shot that's dialed in on the net.
Yeah, exactly.
So, thanks for listening, guys. We'll be on a regular schedule now.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for listening, guys.